If you're still managing your leads in a spreadsheet or worse in your head, you're definitely going to be losing sales. So let me show you how a product called Airtable can help building a sales pipeline that practically runs itself. So if you don't know me, I'm Andrew. On this channel, I show small and medium-sized businesses how to save time, close more clients using AI and automations. And after this video, if you like this kind of thing and you would like to implement something like this that you see here or in one of my other videos in your business, just contact me and we can work on that. So if you see the screen here, we're logged into Airtable. So first of all, like, what even is Airtable? It's basically kind of like a combination of like spreadsheet slash database with automations that you can add into it. And it also has a user interface. So depending on which user in your company is using Airtable, they may want to use a different type of interface. One's more of the back end that's going to look like a spreadsheet or database. And then there's more kind of like front end interfaces. But you'll see those soon enough in this video here. So if we look at this screen, we're logged in, created an account. You can have multiple different workspaces. I'm in one that I just labeled test workspace. And within that, you can create multiple apps, basically. So I'm going to show you a couple here. This one, I'm just showing you so you can kind of see what the back end looks like. This is the data. If you've ever used a database or even any type of spreadsheet, this format probably looks relatively familiar. Within these, you can add, a whole bunch of different types of fields, as you can see here. And so if you look at the screen here, you'll see we have the description for each of these columns. But if you hover over on the left side of each, where it has these little icons, you can see the type. Like, this is a single line text. This is for a long text. So, kind of like it says, if you have something much longer. This one that I put for book cover, the type is attachment. So what you could do is you could put like images of the book covers here. For example, here's a checkbox. Okay, and you can see in here the interface. You could change this to something else. So this is just so you kind of get a brief view of this, and you will either want to know how to do this, or if I'm doing it for you, then you don't need to worry about it. But if you just want to get a quick preview, this is kind of like into a little bit of the nitty gritty behind the scenes. But one thing that is very cool with Airtable is you can actually use something called Omni, and it will, it's basically like an AI assistant. It's going to help you. You can put in a prompt, just, kind of similar to how you do in ChatGPT. Okay. And it'll start building these things out for you. So instead of you manually creating every single piece, creating every piece of a table, for example, you can have it kind of scaffold a lot of that for you. And then you can go back and maybe it's not 100% perfect, but you can go back and then you can start editing some things. So it will save you a lot of time. So this is one that was like, I started out more manual. This one here, this would be a one I actually used their AI tool for. So when you go into edit, you'll see Omni's over here. Right, you can close this out, but just like ChatGPT, Omni will let you type in a prompt, and I had typed in a prompt for this one. Initially, I basically said, we are building a sales pipeline. Here are the tables that we need. Okay, so if you go over here, let's say you started from scratch. Instead of building on your own, you would click Omni, and then you would just type in your prompt. So if I say, here are the tables we need. And then I already have this, so I'm just going to copy paste it, save us a little bit of time. Okay. And literally, I mean, I can just go ahead and press build it. And it's going to do its thing. You can see basically like how it's processing, what it's kind of doing behind the scenes a little bit. And you start to see like it's building it on the spot, which is very cool. So, anyways, we won't wait for that. But if we go over here, this is one that was already built. And you can see also, if you look at the top here, close this out. So you already kind of saw, um, this data tab. So this is like one has a little bit more on it. We have some information in here. You can kind of see like an attachment. Yeah, you can have the image. You can see what it actually looks like. And you can have some things that are going to be a little more important to you, like the dates of when they came in, the budget, the leads, the deal value, all of that kind of thing. So you can see your ROI, see whatever you need really. Like if you have your sales pipeline, you might want to know like what's the status, when do we need to follow up, that type of thing. So this is a little more user friendly, than depending on your purposes, you might not need a whole SQL Server database. So if you have a smaller project, this is kind of a sweet spot between something like a very basic spreadsheet and a full-on SQL Server database, right? And this is still very user friendly. It's pretty much, no, you don't really need to know code to be able to build this. You don't need to be a database administrator or anything like that. So you can see the data tab here. If you go over here to automations, so I set up a quick one, and I actually also used Omni, which again, that's just basically the chatbot inside of Airtable, the AI chatbot. So you could put in a prompt there saying, help me build this automation so that when a deal is marked as one, we receive a Slack notification, a Slack message, right? But it doesn't have to be Slack. It could be whatever fits into your business that can be set up, right? So you can see it here. And then, if you go over here, all you have to do is just connect it to your actual Slack account. I already have one with the sales channel. That's what I set it up to. So literally whoever is in that channel, whoever has access, they're going to get the notification and they'll know to follow up. So this is a little bit more robust. I gave an example in another video that was even simpler. If you're using, if you want to use some other tools like Make or Zapier N8N and use it with something like your Google Forms, Google Sheets, etc. But this is even like a little bit more robust. So I'm just presenting another option for y'all here. And like I said, you can always go into the Omni prompt and it really speeds things up for you. So just a couple more things I'll show. You have forms over here, but the interface is really cool. So this is like a Kanban style board. So I'm sure you've seen these types of boards before where you can see for a project a different type of status. In software we use things like Jira, and they'll say like, oh, something is in to do, or it's in progress, or in review, code committed, or QA or done, or whatever status it is. But for your pipeline, if you have a sales pipeline, you can have whatever categories are helpful to you. So you might have prospecting, you might have qualified, you might have proposal, you might have negotiation. So you can go in here. This is more of like a user interface. So it might be, you don't have to be, have like a heavy tech background to use something like this. And with Airtable, your team can use different parts of this. So if you have people who are have a little more of a tech background, they can go into the data, if they're used to this, kind of more project management or whatnot, they can go over here. So, and you can set up all different types of dashboards, different types of boards and whatnot. So just to kind of give you a quick idea here. So yeah, that's just a real quick run through. I can definitely go a lot more in depth, but I wanted to give y'all an initial idea before we dive deeper, involve some other, automations and some other tools. But this is definitely something you can use as CRM for your business. It keeps it can keep all of the leads visible, automate reminders and draft follow-ups. I mean, there's so many things you can do in this. So, if you're a business owner and you want a system like this fully set up, definitely reach out to me and we can talk about that. And if you found this video helpful, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.